The 29th session of the Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change kicked off in Baku, Azerbaijan, under the slogan "In Solidarity for a Green World." One of the highlights of the conference will be presentation of countries' updated national climate change plans under the Paris Agreement to be published by early 2025. Uzbekistan's delegation, led by the Minister of Ecology, Environmental Protection and Climate Change, Aziz Abdukhakimov, is also participating in this significant event with its pavilion, Hovli. The Uzreport TV crew has also traveled to Azerbaijan's capital to cover the events of COP29. My colleague Komila Tursunova will provide the details.
The Pavilion of Uzbekistan Sustainability Within tells about traditional values and approaches shaped by the country's unique culture, history, and nature. The architectural concept of Uzbek Pavilion is based on the traditional Uzbek Hovli country yard, which is the heart of every home, where every morning begins with a care and warmth. The central family life, framed by the greenery and wines, symbolizes the harmonious coexistence of man and nature. The pavilion is built using sustainable traditional Uzbek materials and ancient techniques, time-tested and adapted to the country's climate.
This year, Baku became the center of climate discussions because the capital of Azerbaijan is hosting the COP29 conference. Right now, we're standing next to the Uzbekistan's pavilion, which this year chose to be more traditional and present its pavilion in a format of Hovli. Now let's go inside and see what does it present. This is the visual representation of the Hovli. As you can see behind me, there are images that show how families, the Uzbek traditional families, gather together with the family members and have dinner or lunch together. Even the fruits at this pavilion have the indicators of COP29, which is significant attention to the details. One significant aspect of the pavilion is that all the materials, all the equipment and the leaves, for example, and the pepper that have been placed on the walls are all natural. It's not fake. A separate attention has been made to the Aral Sea region. The separate room has been made here to showcase the materials brought right from the region itself, for example, the soil that was brought from the bottom of the sea, and as well as the drinking water from the sea. This allows the visitors to see the real materials, to feel them and observe them. This is Suzanne, a traditional material made by the cross hand. As you can see, it represents the beauty of nature of Uzbekistan. It has birds, famous anor from Uzbekistan, and the trees. This really showcases the beauty and the history of Uzbek culture.
The Uzbek pavilion catch the attention of numerous foreign visitors, and delegations place unique design and cultural representation. We have talked to some visitors and distinguished guests who shared their impressions on the pavilion.
Where are you from?
I'm from the United States, and I'm representing the Global Youth Climate Challenges.
Did you have opportunity to walk around the pavilion of Uzbekistan?
Yes, it's gorgeous. We were treated to some of the delicacies and got to connect with some of the youth focal points, which is a key part of our mission here.
What did you enjoy the most so far?
I loved understanding a little bit more about the art and culture that this pavilion showcases, which I think is doing a phenomenal job, especially in comparison to a lot of the other country pavilions, in showing what Uzbekistan's culture and history is like.
Where are you from?
I'm from South Korea.
How are you enjoying the pavilion so far?
It's wonderful. First of all, I didn't even know it was such a big event because, to be honest, I'm a photographer myself. I started to do climate change related projects since 2 years ago. So it's my first COP, and I was actually very surprised that there were so many people, so many countries. I'm very impressed.
Did you find any significant objects for your photographs?
In the venue, you mean, yeah?
Yes.
I'm actually there are quite a lot of interesting pavilions where they were wearing traditional costumes.
Yes.
And then, I was taking photos of people. I mostly take portraits, so I was taking photos of the people who came from their country with traditional clothing.
Particularly also I see that you have some soil samples from the bottom of the sea. I don't know whether you're doing mining, deep sea mining, and that's something that we're also considering for the African continent as a solution that might be very useful. We also have a number of projects that we're working on that might require collaboration. So I was excited by it, I was drawn in, and I decided to come figure out what it is that is happening here.
Within the first day of the conference, the Minister of Ecology held a number of meetings with the heads of foreign delegations and other distinguished guests. They have also shared their views on the Uzbek pavilion.
It's really beautiful, yes. It's one of the most beautiful that I have seen.
What did you like most about our pavilion?
The smile in the people, all the colors of the showcasing of everything that you're doing there, it's really impressive.
Here we are now in the pavilion of Uzbekistan, which is very capacious, but at the same time, everything is shown, not only environmental problems in Uzbekistan, but also problems of a global scale. You can see how the pavilion itself is decorated. I would like to note that this adobe walls resemble our Central Asian Fergana volleys. Well, inside, of course, there are LC issues, problems of a different nature that affect climate change. I hope that as a result of this COP29, a decision will be made, including improving climate change against these catastrophes.
I think this pavilion is one of the top pavilions, the pavilion of Uzbekistan here in COP29. I think it's an opportunity for many people to come and visit. I encourage them to come and visit. It's not only about energy, I think there's a lot about the culture and the arts of Uzbekistan as well, which I enjoyed myself.
In general, active participation of the national delegation of Uzbekistan is planned in the negotiation sessions and other substantive and annual sessions of the conference. Uzbekistan will present its national pavilion, demonstrate its contribution to the global fight against climate change, and share approaches to adaptation.